So will Brad Stevens be the next guy? I mean, you said it's been 30, almost 40 years.
Going on 40, 39 years. It's going to be the 1981 Bill Fitch. It's the last guy. And it happened. The only other two that did it, Mata did it, and with the in 1979 with the 78 with the Bullets, the old Bullets, he won it, and then and Fitch won it in 81. There's the only two college guys direct from college in the last 55 years.
Will Brad end that string? Do you think Brad Stevens wins?
I mean, they're a contender. We know they're a legitimate contender. We know that Milwaukee is head and shoulders the favorite in the East. Somebody has to play them in the finals. There are three possibilities of that: Toronto, Philadelphia, and Boston. And four, Miami. Miami definitely in that mix. And they're one of them. And they're not far away. There may be it could. Yeah. I mean, he could certainly do it.
I'm not saying this year, Bob. I'm not even saying this year. I'm saying in his lifetime.
Right.
He's got a core now. You're going to keep Tatum. You got Jaylen Brown.
Right.
You got Kemba for a little while.
Smart.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
It's a good. It's a good group. It's a. Hey, get a little break here and there. Something happens. Sure. They're in the mix. That's all. Definitely. Oh, the answer to your question is, could he? Yeah, could he? Absolutely could. No question.
Does he? Gun to your head. Does Brad Stevens win a title in Boston?
Probably not, because I'm afraid of Milwaukee. I mean, depend. All right, no matter where Antetokounmpo goes, if he goes to stay, he's going to be, the towering figure in this league. I mean, literally and figuratively for many years. Probably not. I'm not. But have to understand. I'm a negative thinker. I always like that. I like to be pleasant. I'd much rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. So I always like to aim low, and then if things turn out to be
overachieve.
Yeah, I say to me, a pessimist is an optimist with experience. That's
pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay.
I'm going to be the optimist here. I'm going to say that I've always, and I'm not a homer, because I was about as big of a Brad Stevens fan as there was covering him in college, and I think I probably got to know him as well as any national writer while he was a Butler. In fact, I remember seeking him out. I would go in AAU basketball. I would cover it in July, and I would write down like 3 names of coaches that I wanted to meet that I just didn't know well, and I would text them and drive out to whatever gym they were at. Mm-hmm. And I did that with Brad when he became, I think it was his first year at Butler as a head coach, after I'd seen him beat Southern Illinois in Carbondale.
Was he shaving yet at those days?
What's that?
Was he shaving yet? When he?
No. Is he shaving now? So I went out, and you just get a feel when you're around Brad Stevens that you don't get from being around other coaches. I always say, you want to pinch him and say, are you real? Because at that age, his first year, when I remember having that conversation with him and driving out to his side gym in Vegas and just sitting down with him, he was the same maturity level he is now. Like he had it. He just had it. It was like he was born.
Something. There isn't it. And so many walks of life, and there isn't it, and I've been fascinated with coaching its for my whole professional career is what works in all sports, in all sports. It's just fascinating about what that it is, and how it is. There's clearly he's the anointed. He's one of the anointed. Now
to me, the way he wins it all is if Jason Tatum becomes one of the top 5 players in the NBA at some point in his career. I think then you win it all. But I think you have to have Tatum be elite. And he's already an all-star. He made an all-star game in year 3.
If he could replicate the game he just played against the Clippers.
Yeah.
About 40 times out of the 82, right?
That's pretty tough.
That's what we're talking about, because that has to be one of the handful of best all-around games anybody has played in this league this year. I mean, it was a spectacular performance, and both ends, because he's now developed himself into the key is he's taken pride in becoming a defensive player. He wants to be a great player, player. He doesn't just want to be a great offensive player. He wants to be a great player. He's still 21 years old. He's 20. Think about so many of these guys. I mean, he's not the whole guy. We could have this conversation about several other guys in this league, how incredibly precocious they are. And he's certainly at the top of the list among the bigs. Not the top. Well, and under I'll draw a line under 23.
Yeah. No, listen, and as you said,
is entering into the middle age. What is he? 25.
The part that blew me away in that Clippers game, Bob, and I kept tweeting about him scoring, and then the game was over, and I said, like, how did I not tweet about his defense on Kawhi? Yeah. It was amazing.
Yes, it was absolutely. Oh, it was great. But that's asking a lot of anybody to replicate that 40 times. But I think you make an excellent point. He's got the capability of being a truly elite player. We have the other guys. They have other guys. Brown's going to be a very, very nice player, and is a nice player, and Smart is smart. I think what we see is what we get. We're not going to get any more or less out of Smart than we now see. He's not going to develop into a 20 points a game scorer, but he's capable of a 25-point night every now and then when that erratic 3-point shot is falling. But the other thing is the other stuff he gives you is there every single other stuff.
What you need, you honestly probably need to win it all, to replace Gordon Hayward with a dominant big. And I don't know where you find that dominant.
Where you find that, I know. The world, there's so few, anyway, we know that. Well, anyway, it's they're people like them, they're fun. We're happy we like watching them. It's all harmonious this year, and it's a lot different, but it's good.